Transformation 108-Day Journey to Your Sacred Life journal entry. Today is day 14 for me, and the topic today is I see the ways my mind limits my experience of life. And this one, as usual, was a great lesson for me just at the right time. And I'm going to get into why here in just a second. But a couple of things that stood out in the book for me, I'm going to highlight and read for you. And if you want to read this book, I always link the book in the description, so be sure to check that out. If you want to follow along or do your own journey, definitely highly recommend it. So the main sentence that really popped out for me that really encompasses this entire lesson is, your mind is always on the lookout for ways to avoid discomfort and threat and ways to secure more safety, pleasure, approval, and control. And this definitely is true for my mind. I don't know about yours, but my mind is always looking for ways to be in control, avoid discomfort, and all the things that I just said. So a couple of other things that popped out for me was basically just talking about patterns again, recognizing patterns and then jumping to conclusions, which is what I put for my intention today, was to not jump to conclusions based on patterns or things that my mind may tell me about a situation. During my meditation, a couple of really interesting things came up for me, and I wanted to share them with you. And they all relate to personal things I'm going through right now in my life with, relationships and things like that. So I wanted to share those with you. So one thing that popped up for me was not to punish someone for the mistakes of others, to give them the benefit of the doubt. So for example, if you recognize a pattern of something that may have happened to you in your past, maybe you immediately say, hey, wait a minute, I recognize this pattern. I'm not going down that road again. I already know where it's going to lead. I can fill in the blanks of, X, Y, and Z, and I know what's going to happen. Well, that is punishing someone for the mistakes of maybe another person, which I do a lot. I always assume that what happened to me in the past could repeat itself, which could happen, and that's self-preservation. That's me trying to keep myself safe and look out for, number one, which is me. But in a way, I could be blocking my blessings in a way, which is the next thing that came up for me, is blocking your blessings and limiting your access to your higher consciousness, which also can limit, manifestation. If you're working on trying to manifest things in your life, or if you are trying to get into the vortex, as I call it, which is, if you study the law of attraction, you know a little bit about the vortex, and that's when you're in the receiving mode and able to really manifest the things that you've been, desiring. So when you automatically start to jump to conclusions and, fill in the blanks in your mind of things that could possibly happen, you're not leaving room for the universe or the higher powers that be to really come in and bless you with the things that they want to do, because you already in your mind have put up a roadblock and sort of closed that avenue off. So that is something I struggle with, is trying not to let things that happened to me in the past define my future, because that's not always going to be the case. So another thing I put in here, and this is what I'm currently going through with my partner right now, is I want to talk about triggers a little bit. So there are things that trigger me from past relationships that I've had. I've talked a little bit about this before, and again, I'm getting vulnerable with you guys, but I have a bit of an abandonment wound. So when things come up that sort of look like that to me, even if they're small, I can be really triggered, and that can cause me to react in a way that is not necessarily the best. But what I've noticed is my reaction is a trigger for my partner. So I won't go into detail about it, but what I've noticed is we sort of go back and forth with triggering each other in the areas that we need the most healing in, which I thought was really interesting, that the universe would bring someone that would have the opposite wounding as me, and we would continuously go back and forth and trigger each other in this way, where my wound keeps getting triggered, and then I'm triggering their wound in response. And it's not intentional. It's not like I'm setting out to say, I'm gonna get you back and trigger you in the way that you don't like. It just happens to be that we that's what happened. That's how we interact sometimes, and that's what we both have those things to work on. So anyway, the point of it is, sometimes the universe will bring you someone, whether it's a friend, a lover, a coworker, anybody in your life, that maybe you guys have two things that you need to work on, and you're going to trigger each other back and forth. So you could also think of this, you know, like I said, a coworker at work. Maybe there's that one person that just drives you crazy, and you guys get into it, you trigger each other, but maybe you need to take a step back and look and say, what is this person showing me that I need to work on? And maybe also with that person, you're supposed to help them work through something. So I believe that that does happen. You are brought people into your life that may trigger you, and they may be people that you interact with regularly. And instead of letting yourself get triggered every time, you need to take a step back and think about, okay, what is this showing me? Because what triggers you is what you need to heal. So anyway, that's the one thought that came out for me in this lesson. So breaking patterns in your life, that is sometimes what is another reason they come into your life, is so that you can break those patterns with a person who is safe. Because not always the person who is triggering you doesn't mean to be triggering you. They're not trying to cause you harm. It's just that your previous experience is making you think that this person is also trying to cause harm or hurt you in some way, which is not always true. It just happens to be that you are triggered by that, and you need to realize that not all people are out to get you, or whatever it is you are thinking. So anyway, that is what came up for me today in my lesson. Powerful one for me, something I'm working through now. As usual, it always is. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you for being here. If you enjoy these, please like this video and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.